well, I'll tell you what, if you think you're big enough to make me go, then we'll do it. He said, but I suggest you call you some backup. I said, okay. I said, well, I'll get some en route, but you're leaving this property one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you use the microphone, you got to turn the microphone with your head because it's not going to pick up if you don't talk into it.
Thanks for the great advice, but I know how to operate a mic. I operate one every day. Radio mic.
You're not on the radio every day.
Yes, I am.
You do not go to the radio station every day.
No, I have a radio in my truck that I talk to my dispatch with. You know, if I'm looking out the window and I see a car go by and I'm talking on the radio and I look away, they can't hear me. But now they can, and now they can. It operates the same way.
Well, you meant radio station like WQSB, WBI.
Yeah, I'm going to hop in the truck and run up to Boaz every morning before I come into work, and I'm going to jump on the radio. For the morning show.
Squeal into Mary Jerry's.
When you say...
Lights and siren on.
I got to get there.
I got to get back before 6.
When you say the radio, I think the radio. When you get in the car, what's on? The radio.
Or it even works the same way with my microphone on my radio walkie-talkie.
Oh,
If
yeah?
I look away from it, you know, they can't hear me.
They just don't hear you.
And he also used to be in a band.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He forgot all about picking and grinning on Friday
Picking
nights.
and grinning on Friday nights.
With David, Alvis, and Bo.
That's right.
David Allen Coe.
We added that to the song.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Okay. Well, good job. Glad for you to know.
What's up, y'all?
This is Beyond 21
With Caitlin.
Callie.
And Bo.
Closer.
David Allen Coe.
And Bo.
There you go.
So this is our dad, Bo.
This is my dad.
He's actually my dad first.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I was actually planning on doing that. I was in the bathroom earlier, and I thought, not earlier when I was here, like at home, and I thought about saying that just to kind of get you throwed off.
Not through. Throwed.
Throwed.
Throne would be the correct word.
Thrown, yeah. He's a grammar expert, too.
We gotta get hold it up there like at all times so we.
Well, I mean, it to me it seems kind of stupid to be holding
No,
it.
I'm just saying your little giggles. Those are
Yeah, we
cute.
got to get those little ad-libs.
All right, then.
There was a little bit of that Tourette's coming out.
All
that I
right.
mentioned last podcast. He is not a stranger to the podcast scene. He's already been in 2 other podcast episodes. So, well, not really not both of them. But you were like tagged in the second one.
But I was only on.
You were only on the one. I was too. We were on it together. You remember that? Wasn't it so fun?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, see, gotta have that. We were on True Crime on Easy Streets podcast episode about the eyeglass case. I was just there for moral support.
Yeah, you just wanted to be on
I just
the
booked
podcast.
you. I just booked you,
You just
and they let me come.
Trying to get some credit, you know.
That was before we even thought about having this podcast, but it was pretty fun. I was nervous.
I think that's what got you.
I'm nervous now. I mean, you know.
Are you really?
No.
I was about to say.
Okay, I was about to say, no, you're not. If y'all see his leg bouncing, he's not scared. He's just,
Well, it's
got
a
that.
tick. We're both.
yeah, you see, we're all
both
doing it except for him. He hadn't got
Yeah, I'm
around
not
to
going to
doing
sit like that.
it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying
That'd hurt my knees. Or the back of my knee, rather.
Yeah, this
your knee pit is what I call
Your
them.
knee pit?
All right.
You know, armpit, knee pit, everybody pit.
Ha ha.
Just move on.
But anyway, so he's gonna touch a little bit on that here in a little while. But so yeah, this is our dad. And would you like to just introduce yourself? Just give us a couple little quick facts about you and like why we're here today talking to you.
Well, I guess most of you that listen to the podcast probably knows who I am, but I'm Bo Jolly. I'm the father of 3 beautiful girls and the husband of a beautiful wife.
Good one. Brownie points.
I didn't do it for brownie points.
Shout out to you.
But I've always lived at the Johns Crossroads area, grew up there, always wanted to be in law enforcement, followed my dreams, got a job with the sheriff's office back in '99, and I'm still here 25 years later.
Right on.
Yeah, man. And well, I guess I shouldn't mention that part. I'll tell y'all here in a minute. I don't want to give away our exact location. Your exact location. Okay. He's not even laughing. He's making me feel awkward already.
I'm lost.
I am too.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
But I just thought it's funny when you said the Johns
Oh.
Crossroads area. I was going to say the little funny thing about Google Maps. And I didn't want to give away your exact location.
Everybody knows where I live.
Not everybody. We have listeners in other states.
We have people in Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't.
We
make
have
folks in
people
other states
listening.
mad, I don't think.
We have people listening in Chile, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic.
Hey, if they can find it, they can look at it too.
He'll just tell you don't step on a blade of his grass.
Be Jolly Lane.
Oh, that's it. There it is. He don't even know what's going on right now.
They playing some of these. Meow, meow, meow.
This is what he's referring to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess let's move on and we'll just get right into it.
Okay.
Same difference.
Yeah. This is some tobacco that Eddie gave me.
You get stung?
I got a spider bite, possibly, allegedly. I don't really know.
It looked like
That's
a
what it-
wasp.
You think so? It didn't feel like a
It
wasp.
was like a perfect circle around it, though.
And it
That
had
was odd.
like a real dark red and then some light red around it.
Okay.
So he said put some tobacco on it. It's been on there. I was smelling it at supper time and it really grossed me out. But I left it.
You should have took it off and washed it.
Okay. No, I wanted to tell you real quick that Stacy was on Google Maps the other day looking around at her house and she caught Mama and Granddaddy. The Google Maps truck caught them on the golf cart like 5 times in different locations.
They're moving fast, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. Anyway, so, Callie,
What?
ask the questions.
Okay. What made you want to be a cop in the first place?
I guess going back to my childhood, I had a great uncle that was a deputy sheriff. His name was Herbert Acker. A lot of people in the county that's older really recognize that name. The younger generation probably don't. But I guess just seeing him as law enforcement all my life growing up and being around him, I guess probably what started it. And then I guess after I graduated high school, of course, I still always had that dream. I always wanted to be a cop, you know. Grew up playing cops and robbers with the neighborhood kids, you know, and,
Russian spies.
well, that didn't have anything to do with the police, but, you know,
Okay.
sorry. But
Bubble pop. I swear.
But anyway, so after I graduated, there was another, I guess, a classmate of mine, right after we graduated, went to work at the sheriff's office. And then
Who was it?
his name's Lanny Ransom.
What's up, Lanny?
Anyway, after he got involved in it, I got involved with the fire department also right out of high school. And listening to the fire radio all the time. And I had a scanner, listening to that all the time. It just kind of ramped that up a little bit. But mother didn't ever want me to be a police officer because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous job. So I ended up later on, I think it was somewhere around 96.
Finn. She started smiling.
You want me to stop answering that question now?
said-
You ask another one?
No, he said drop. He said drop. Anytime he messes up, I can't not laugh. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, they make fun of me all the time because I stutter or I blink when I talk, you know. I hope one day they'll get old and they'll do the same thing, and I hope I'm around to see it.
You gotta zoom in on it when he does it.
This is more of a comedy show than anything else.
I'm so
It's going to be that way with Callie anyway. Because everything I say, she laughs at me, so, you know.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, don't apologize. I mean, it comes natural for me. I just kind of overlook it and go on.
I was overlooking it.
I just ignore it. I could see it into the corner of my eye, without turning my mic away from my face,
I was trying to keep myself.
You shouldn't have picked that drink up. I'd have never noticed. I was like, why is she drinking while we're on the podcast? And then you started going like this. And I lost it.
When I knew you were looking at me, that's when I lost it. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry.
I'm hoping all this is going to be on there because this is real life right here at our house.
It's gonna be on there.
It's real life at our house.
We don't cut nothing out.
I get made fun of every day
So do I.
at home.
Hey, did you use that new
And
word?
then they get mad at me for the wisecracks that I throw back at them.
Wisecracks.
Oh, don't be a smart aleck.
I don't care personally.
Did you use the new word that I told you to use with your coworkers today? Oh, you didn't work today. Dang it. Use it tomorrow.
He's not working.
After we
Oh,
get
yes,
done
he
with
is.
this, you're going to have to remind me what it is or text me what it is because I'll forget 5 minutes after you tell me again.
So you don't remember anymore?
No. I thought about it today, but then I couldn't remember the words.
Sweat lobbies. You're in there with the sweats.
Okay.
What's a
'Cause they're
sweat
good.
lobby?
They're good.
See, I'm glad I'm not the only one that didn't know what that
I
was.
thought she knew.
What's a sweat lobby?
Like, you're in there with those sweaty people. They're sweats. They play all the time and they're good. And I was telling
Oh, a
him.
sweat lobby like in Fortnite.
Yeah,
Okay.
she did know. Okay, all right. Anyway, keep going.
I forgot where I was at.
Callie wasn't listening anyway.
No, I was.
You were talking about having the scanners and being in the fire department. And you were going
So
on
the
about that.
sheriff's office has a reserve program. And somewhere around 96, I think it was, I decided that I wanted to join the reserve program. And what that is, it's an auxiliary
Golly, Callie, shut up.
See what I mean? It's every word I mess up. She's going to laugh.
Just say it like I'm not here.
We can't. I mean,
When
it's
you're
impossible.
silently vibrating like this.
The people that are looking at us are going to be able to see it too.
They're not going to be able to concentrate.
This podcast is going to be 3 hours
Callie keeps doing
because we
all
got to
that.
get past the Google box.
I'm so sorry. No, don't apologize.
Little Sir Giggles.
I mean,
All right. The
So-
reserve. What's a reserve?
so a reserve is somebody that works for the sheriff's office with free labor to help supplement manpower, and you actually ride with a certified police officer or sheriff's deputy, and they had that at the sheriff's office, and so I decided I wanted to be a reserve.
Can
But do
you?
you kind of get? I'm sorry. Do you kind of get a little bit of training? Like, do they try to tell you stuff?
Yeah, as you're riding, they give you, what if scenarios or whatever so that you're not just totally blind because you don't have any training prior to this. And the only training you're really getting as a reserve is while you're riding around with that officer in the car. They're actually telling you, hey, you need to watch this, or when you're doing a traffic stop, this is what I want you to do. Because it's, as a reserve, it's your job to watch that deputy or officer's back so that you basically got another set of eyes, or that officer has another set of eyes while he's approaching a vehicle, to get a driver's license or whatever. Then the reserve is like between the two cars, not right up on it in the action of looking in the car necessarily.
Do you like wear a uniform and like have a weapon and
Yes,
Dang, I was
yes,
gonna
you have
ask
to-
that.
You
Sorry.
have to have a uniform if you're riding as a reserve, and
Do you bring your own weapon?
yes, they don't supply any weapons, duty gear, or anything like that for reserves. You have to supply your own.
So, like, I mean, do you have to have a certain, like, you have to carry a Glock 9, just like,
No. When I first started, I can't remember everybody at that point in time. Nobody at the sheriff's office had they may all carry 9mm weapons, but there may be a Smith and Wesson. One of them may have a Glock. May have some other kind of gun or whatever. And so there was no
specific gun you
specific
had
gun
to
that you
have?
had to have. And, you really can't tell a reserve that he's got to go buy a certain gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's
They're
not
not-
working for them.
Right.
And that's money out of his pocket. So he has to just get what he can get. And typically, reserves get, a little bit here and there. They don't just go out and fork out a bunch of money on
Right.
equipment. So
Yeah. Okay. So is that the reserve? Is that like that's where you started?
that's where I started my law enforcement career.
So how do you go about doing that? You just go down there and say, I want to be a reserve, and they'll be like, okay, fine.
Well, like I said, I had a great uncle that was a deputy sheriff at that point in time at the sheriff's office. I had a friend that I went to school with that was an actual officer or deputy at that point in time. And then I knew several people that actually worked in the jail.
But as a regular Joe Blow, how do you just go about?
You can just go to the sheriff's office and say, hey, I'm interested in being a reserve. Is there an application or something? And there is an application that you have to fill out now. There was then. So you just ask for an application. And then if there's, say, an opening spot or whatever that needs filling, then they can select from any of the applicants to say, hey, you'd like to be a reserve.
Did you ever have anything like exciting happen on your?
Wait, hold
Your
on. I had
reserve?
to ask a question about that.
Oh.
So how many do y'all have right now?
I'm not sure how many actual reserves that we have on what you call the books, I guess you might say. All of our jail staff have to be listed as a reserve because of the job duties that sometimes they are employed to do. But as far as just private citizens being reserves, I would say no more than probably 10 that's private citizens.
I wouldn't have thought that many though.
When I started as a reserve, I want to say there was probably about 15 or 20 of us.
Dang.
And it was a fight to get in a car. Usually you want
Y'all
to
are
ride.
eager to go.
Yeah, everybody wanted to ride. And I always rode on Friday and Saturday night because I worked Monday through Friday. And then sometimes I would get off after I got started. I would get off in the middle of the week and I worked in Rome, and I'd get off at 5 o'clock in Rome, which was 4 o'clock here. I'd be home by 4:30 or 4:45. I'd jump in the shower, get in my uniform, and I'd go jump in the car with a patrol officer, and I'd ride till midnight. Which then they worked 8-hour shifts, and so I only missed about an hour of the shift, and then I'd go home at 12, get in the bed, and go to work. Be at work at. Be in Rome by 8 o'clock Georgia time to work. So, I did that anywhere from 2 to 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. But all the action at that point in time was thought to have happened on Friday and Saturday night. So most everybody wanted to ride Friday and Saturday nights. And at that time, there was like 3 deputies on from 4 in the afternoon to 12 midnight. On Friday and Saturday night, they had 3 people working on a shift. And so there's 3 opportunities you have to ride with somebody if they hadn't already been taken. But usually if you wanted to ride on a Friday or Saturday, you had to call weeks in advance and say, hey, I want to ride with you this weekend, all weekend long if you got an opening.
See, I feel like I would like that.
I mean, it's interesting work,
But you said you don't get paid for it.
No, there's no pay whatsoever.
Yeah.
So what happens to somebody if they get, with today, how today is, people just shoot cops. What happens if just a normal reserve gets shot?
I mean, you sign paperwork.
That's
saying
what I
that
was
You
you're-
gonna
sign like a
say.
waiver.
Yeah,
Right.
you're signing a waiver basically that, you're doing this at your own risk and the responsibility, or there's no responsibility of the sheriff's office whatsoever. They can't be held liable for anything
So
because it's your choice to go do
yeah,
that.
that's what I was thinking. So to get back to my question before, did you ever have anything exciting happen when you were on?
Oh, yeah, there was always something going on. I mean, if it wasn't going to domestics where there was people actually fighting when you pull up in a car, to death scenes,
Drugs.
drug search warrants going on. I mean,
But like they let you get out of the car and stuff.
oh yeah.
So you
And they
just
let
act
You
like
actually,
a normal police officer.
you done everything the deputy did pretty much are with that deputy everywhere he went.
Like
you write
hands-on stuff too?
reports?
Hands on. If there was a fight and that deputy is rolling in the grass trying to arrest somebody, you're rolling in the grass helping him.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You
I mean,
write
it ain't-
reports?
Huh?
Does the
No, the reserves don't
I
do
didn't
any
think so.
report writing except unless there's some kind of witness in some kind of case or something.
yeah?
They might be responsible for a witness statement or something, but no, they're all hands on. You don't ride in the car as a reserve to sit in the car.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I'm glad.
Now you may do that when you first start out. You say, the deputy may say, "Hey, I know you're brand new. If you don't feel comfortable getting out, just stay in the car."
Oh, okay.
But I need to know where you're going to be because I don't need to be looking for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Look around and you be gone, and then I got to break my concentration from the call to figure out where my reserve's at.
Yeah. Okay. So start us from like the academy and like any kind of training you have to go through.
Let me ask you, do they pick first from the reserve program to go to the academy if somebody's willing, or will they get somebody off the street that wants to go to the academy first?
Well, typically the way we do it now is, then when I started, they either chose if somebody's wanting to go to the academy from the jail first because they're already employees. And then if there's nobody that wants to go to the academy to say fill a position on patrol, then they would start with the reserves. They typically don't look for somebody out in the public when you got people already kind of
Right.
in place.
How many can a sheriff's department send? Can they send as many as they want to the academy, or is there like a limit of 5? Or
No, you can send as many as you want to.
wow,
I mean, if you got our folks go now to the Jefferson Police Academy or Jefferson County Sheriff's Office Academy, and they house their own academy for their own personnel. But since they're what we call A post rules are set up under their rules and guidelines, other agencies are allowed to come in there. Most are sheriff's office that goes to the sheriff's office academy. It's the same exact academy as what they call the police academy. I went to the Northeast Alabama Police Academy in Jacksonville, which was in Brewer Hall at that point in time.
Callie was interested in that.
I spent 12 weeks at Brewer Hall, pretty much.
That's the same building that's up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one
That's
across
right
where
beside-
they done the new crosswalk thing, and they
Yeah, that's right
the
beside
red
the
light.
business building.
it's between
Yeah.
next door to where you went.
Did you have to stay the night?
No, I drove home back and forth every day.
So you go for 2 days a week or 3 days a week, or
No,
you
we
go
went
all
5
week?
days a week.
Oh, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Is that like how many hours? Like,
It's 400. When I went to the academy, it was a total of 480 hours. It's what the academy consisted of. Now it's 640 or something like that now.
so what do you actually do?
At the academy?
So you're just gonna pick back up about what you do in the academy when you?
Well, you started asking a question, and we got limped off on something else. So I don't remember what your question was exactly, but
She was talking about.
how do I get to the academy or something?
Yeah, we were talking about like what you do in the.
I was kind
academy.
of gonna ask the. No, he's talking about before you.
We
interrupted
went
me a
from
while
the
ago.
reserves straight into the academy. You didn't ask when I got hired or anything like that.
Well, I was gonna ask like.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you get hired first and then they send you to the academy? Like, I can ask that.
Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
do that.
Because it's live.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, do you get hired at the sheriff's office or wherever and then they send you to the academy, or do you go to the academy and then you get hired after that?
Well, there's 2 ways you can do that. I was a reserve. They hired me from the reserve program as a deputy, and then I was sent to the academy. You can also go to what they call the reserve academy, and that's every other weekend for 14 or 16 months. Whereas when I went to the academy, it was 12 weeks long, and it was 5 days a week. Now the academy is 16 weeks long, and it's 5 days a week. So I got hired as a deputy, and then I went to the academy. But there are some folks that are hired as reserves or on the reserve program, and they choose to go to the reserve academy.
And then they hire them after that, or
Sometimes, but the thing about going to the academy as a reserve is if you go to the academy as a reserve, when you complete that reserve academy, you can go to work for any agency that you want to go to work for. With me being hired full time and then sent to the academy, I have to stay with that agency at least 2 years
oh, okay.
before I can
Because
transfer
they paid
somewhere.
for it, right?
Because they paid every dime. Our reserves that goes to the academy, they pay for that out of their pocket.
Do they get paid back if they get hired somewhere, or is that just
No,
lost?
That's just
Okay.
they're
Not really
but
lost.
They're like free
Well, you
agents
know what I mean.
if you want to look at it like
Okay,
baseball.
okay,
They're free
okay.
agents.
Got it.
But it's because they paid their own way. You just have to have a sponsor. An agency has to sponsor you to go to the police academy. You couldn't walk in, you couldn't fill out the paperwork and send it in to the state and then them say, okay, you're going to the Jefferson Police Academy.
Right, because they got to do background checks and all that on
Well,
you.
not only that, but you have to be sponsored by an agency. You can't go in there as a private citizen and be in an academy without an agency sending you to that academy
Well,
or being
that-
your sponsor.
There could be bad things happen if somebody random just goes to a police academy and
Yeah,
gets
there's a lot
trained
of
in that kind of stuff and then doesn't use it for good.
Right.
So what do you do in the academy? Is it like you sit in class, or you do like
Well-
physical things?
The first 2 days of any academy is a physical agility test.
Ugh.
The first day is basically your physical agility test. There's certain criteria that you have to meet throughout your academy experience, and those certain criteria are pass and fail. If you fail it, you get one opportunity to make it up. If you fail it after that second time,
You gone.
then you're out.
Can
You're
you
sent
never
back
can
home.
get back in?
You can, but you have to wait a certain length of time before you can go back.
Oh, okay.
So what's the criteria? Like, do you know?
So, one of the criteria to get into the police academy is you have to run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes and 28 seconds.
How hard is that, really? On
Well,
a scale
for-
of 1 to 10. For some
For
normal,
somebody that's normal, say 20-year-old that's fresh out of high school, that
can you jog a mile and a half in 15 minutes? Or do you have
Yeah.
to sprint it?
No.
well, there's some
you don't.
running, that if you're a slow jogger, of course, but typically a 15, 28 mile and a half is reasonable time to do it. Most people do it that are in pretty good shape, do it from anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes.
I'll give you a reference. I was like my first day back running when I started to try to like run or whatever. I ran down in the cul-de-sac and I did a little circle, and then I ran like I walked my whole last little loop, and it was 1.5 miles, and I did it in 20 minutes. So like I
So
walked.
if you'd have just kind of
If I'd have kept
walked
going.
or even jogged,
Yeah, like yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that's
so it's
pretty
really not
reasonable.
too much to ask. You're not. They're
No,
not
not
asking you to
really.
be an
I mean,
Olympic runner.
No, you don't have to be an Olympic runner to do that. On top of that, you have to do 25 sit-ups,
I can do that. 10.
22 push-ups in a minute each.
The sit-ups though.
I can't do the push-ups.
The sit-ups.
Well, I can't now because I got some bad shoulders.
Yeah, but with the sit-ups, like, is that nobody's holding your feet?
No, there's somebody holding your feet.
Oh, that's
your
not
knees
bad.
are up, and your hands
Crunch.
are behind your head, and your elbows have to touch your knees
Oh,
Right.
okay.
when you come up.
Those
you
are-
count one.
That's not even asking a whole lot on the sit-ups. The
No.
push-ups
But
are.
the push-ups, 25 in a minute.
22.
Oh, 22 in a
can't
minute.
do that.
But you have somebody laying down with their fist.
And you have to touch
Oh
your
my
nose
gosh, that's even
or
worse.
the chest.
The
okay.
chest.
Okay.
Has to touch that.
I wouldn't make it.
I wouldn't
I
make
can
it.
barely do one. Do
I
they let you
can't
do
do
the girl
one.
push-ups?
No, all females have to do the same as what the males do.
Ooh, that would get me right there. Couldn't do
would get
that.
me.
But then on top of that, you have to do what they call an obstacle course in 1.5 minutes.
I could do that.
The 1.5 minute obstacle course consists of you start out by pushing a vehicle 15 feet.
In neutral.
Yes.
I can do that. I can do that. They
Which-
slammed
and
that in
it's-
park and did the emergency
it-
brake.
Yeah. And it's on flat ground, of course.
That's easy.
You do that. you sprint to a 6-foot either chain link fence or wooden fence. You have to go over that,
I can do that.
and then you have to go through what they consider a window opening. It's a framed up window that's in the obstacle course, and you have to step through it. I mean, it's like
Not a
stepping
run and dive
it's like
through.
stepping over a baby gate.
Oh, okay.
I can
okay.
do that.
You know, you have to duck through,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you have to continue through the obstacle course, and you walk I think it's a 10-foot balance beam that is like 8 inches wide, and it's like 6 inches off the ground.
So
Oh,
it's
that-
very reasonable.
Oh yeah.
So this is kind of
If
a
you
lenient.
fall and get hurt on that, you've really done something.
But what
need
if
to
you
go
actually
home.
like don't walk all the way across
You have
and
to
you
go back and start
Okay,
it and then
okay.
finish it.
Okay.
And then at the very end, there's a 165-pound dummy that you have to drag 15 feet. And then once you stop at that 15-foot mark, then your time stops.
And how long do you say you have to do all that?
A minute and a half.
Is that difficult?
I feel like I
Like, are
could
these
do
Most
it.
people do that in like 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I could do that pretty quickly. The
I'd like
push-ups are what's going to get me because I can do the obstacle course.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you have to do the mile and then the sit-ups and then the push-ups and then the obstacle course all back to back to back, or do they give you breaks or whatever?
Yeah, that's when I say back to back to back. When I went to the academy, there was, I want to think the first day we were there was like 70 people there.
And that narrowed it
So
down
they're
to
just
what,
sending
40?
them all.
Oh, and when you do the run, they split you in like groups of 20 or 30.
Oh, okay.
So they
you-
third you up and send
Yeah,
this
and
group over
like-
here.
Like the day we ran, and the first thing we did was they divided us up and said, okay, this group's going to start now, and they sent us. Mm-hmm. And it's like 6 laps around a track, like out here at the high school. It'd be 6 complete laps. Once that group started, then after maybe a lap or two, they had somebody else in charge of another group that was timing them, and they knew who they were timing, and then they sent them. So eventually we were all running on the track at the same time,
Yeah. So you're leapfrogging each other, kind of.
pretty much.
Okay, okay.
know.
So let's move on from the academy, and then
Well, I thought you wanted to know everything
that's
that we had
right.
to do in the academy.
well, never mind.
So that running and push-ups, sit-ups, and obstacle course is like one combined criteria. Mm-hmm. So if I mess up on my push-ups on day 1, then I have to do everything over on day 3.
Oh, man, they don't take your best.
On day 3, I have to do all of it start to finish.
So what does the other days consist of?
So the first day, everybody's done typically with all the agility stuff by maybe lunchtime. So when you come back from after lunch, you go to the classroom. And then they start classroom introductions about what you're going to be expected to do, and like a major summary of what the academy is.
Do they?
The last half of the day, somewhat, and then we have legal issues is going to be a pass or fail criteria.
Like you take tests?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you take
legal
one major
issues.
test.
Like, is this legal to do in this situation? Like, they give you a situation.
So
and
they
say-
teach you for about 2 solid weeks. They take the Alabama code book and they teach you that Alabama code book in 2 weeks. And then they give you a test on Friday of like 100 questions or 150. I can't remember how many it is. Maybe 200. I don't know. Anyway, you have to make at least 70% on this or you're failed. Mm-hmm. If you failed the first day,
Bye-bye.
2 days later, you're taking that test again.
Oh. How many chances do they give you to fail the test? Twice. So you can fail it twice, and that third time if you fail
No. Second time you fail, you're out.
They give you two tests. Is
Yeah,
what you're
but
saying.
now the second test they give you for legal issues is not going to be the same test they give you the first time. Because first, there's like every other person in the class.
Gonna
'Cause
get a
you're
different
setting-
test.
Yeah.
You're going to get test A, and then the one beside you going to get test B.
Yeah, because they don't want you leaning over looking at your buddy's answers saying, hey, he picked A on that one. I'm going to pick A. Well, guess what? Your A is going to be wrong.
Yeah. So,
So we have the agility and running as a pass or fail. You have your legal issues, which is pass or fail. You have firearms, which is pass or fail.
That's
It sounded like
firearms,
you said
just the
farms.
test.
Firearms.
Firearms. You have to go to the range, and you have to shoot at least 70% on their
Target.
target.
But they're not going to do a firearms test like asking you about certain firearms.
Like safety and
that
stuff.
test
No,
is
no, this-
on the site
This
field.
this is
In the field.
hands-on
Was that your favorite?
shooting, putting rounds down range.
Was that your favorite?
I mean, I enjoyed the firearms. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, really, who don't?
I mean, yeah. Who don't like shooting a gun?
Well, anyway. So what's the next ones?
I could answer that question for you, but I decided not to.
The next one's what? You think you know what's next?
Yeah.
No. No, I was talking about, you said who don't like shooting guns, and I was going to answer, but I thought that would be not nice. So I decided to keep it to
I thought that too.
myself.
Oh, okay.
Do they teach you the military lingo?
Yeah, they got
The alphabet?
The
Well,
alpha,
you know,
delta.
they have what
Alpha,
they call
Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot,
Okay, she's going to get it for her.
Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, is it Llama? Or
Lima.
Lima.
Lima bean!
That's what I thought. I still close though. Hold on. Now I've done messed up. I can't remember the M.
Mango.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
It's not Mary. I looked it up. It didn't say Mary.
Well, there's a police lingo, and then there's the military.
Oh, y'all have
lingo.
different.
It's
Yeah.
somewhat the same, though.
okay.
And most everybody just kind of mixes it, you know.
Oh.
According to what kind of thought process I got going when I call one out, it's with I use George or Golf, you know,
Okay.
Allie, what is
or Frank or Fred.
what is Z?
Zulu.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
Zulu.
I thought it was zebra.
Or zebra.
Okay.
Police one is zebra and military is Zulu.
See, I looked it up the other
You
day.
ever heard of Zulu time?
Z time?
No, I said Zulu.
What is Zulu?
You hear that a lot on movies. Zulu time.
I never heard
They
of
mean military time? Is that what they're saying?
There's some time zone that they go by.
I thought that
and they
just
say
meant
Zulu
Z time.
time.
I don't know. New Zealand time.
I lose the ones in the middle, like starting from Mike, November. Okay.
Hey, Mike.
Oscar.
Mike is in the one that walked into the bar.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Same very one.
Oscar,
Oh.
Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango.
You?
What's you? Hold on.
Umbrella.
No, it's
Utah.
not. No,
Ugly.
stop. Uniform.
You can use uniform.
It's uniform.
Or union.
Yeah.
Oh, Union. I didn't think about
And then Victor.
that. W.
I'm
You
trying
get
to.
one when you go to the ER a lot of times.
That didn't help me.
X-ray.
No, I didn't get W.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew X-ray.
whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey, X-ray, Yankee, and then Zulu.
Yeah.
Zebra.
When did you
Zebra,
look
Zulu.
this up today?
No, like 3 days ago. I was just
Getting
so
prepared.
I wanted to prepare. Well,
They're not
not,
hard to learn though.
no, they're really not. It wasn't. Okay, no,
I have to tell a funny story about this.
Okay.
And you know, God love him. He's a great guy.
Are you going to
I'm
say
not
his
gonna
name?
call his name.
Well, we
Dang
know.
it.
I'm not gonna. No, you won't know him. But I was listening to the radio one night, and this officer, and I'm not even gonna say which agency it is.
Could you get in trouble for that?
No, I just don't want to make anybody mad or embarrass.
no
anybody.
embarrassment.
But he called out a tag to dispatch, and he said "L elephant."
You talking about that?
Like he was saying the letter L, and he said elephant.
He also said he's 1039 on a vehicle, or he said I'm gonna be 1089 on a vehicle here. Well, a 1089 is a dead body. 1039 is stopping a vehicle, and he said I won't be out 1089 on this vehicle.
He going to be dead on the vehicle.
So I mean, I'm sorry. I thought about it. I had to say it.
I love
wait,
the cop humor.
Wait.
Hey, if you don't have some kind of humor in this job, you'll go completely insane.
Wait,
I
but
mean, we have some bad, you know.
do they freak out when he said that he had a?
Oh, dead body.
I never did talk to the dispatchers, but they kind of knew this guy,
Oh, okay.
and they knew what he meant. You know, so it's kind of
You gotta know your.
you got to know your officers. you
Bruh,
know.
if Rodney would have been there, he'd roasted him for days on that one.
Do they correct him over the?
Do you mean
radio?
1039?
No, they do that. You know, but
Just to verify.
yeah, and dispatchers have a sense of humor too.
Okay.
And sometimes you can get on a dispatcher's nerves, you know?
Yeah.
So, and when they can get you back, they get you back.
L as in elephant? That doesn't make sense.
It is what it is.
I'm telling you, dude, if it had been Rodney, he'd have roasted him.
Well,
Do you have to be so formal when you use the radio a lot? Like, do you have to be?
when I first started, they wanted you to go by the 10 codes. They wanted you to use either the military version or the
I gotta say something.
police officer alphanumeric wording. But now, I guess probably about 15 years ago, the federal government said that it's easier for everybody just to talk plain English.
So
Because
instead of
plain
saying
English
tango,
is easier understood.
you could say Tom, T for Tom.
Yeah, or instead of saying I'm 1039 on a vehicle, I'm gonna be making a traffic stop. You know,
Oh, okay.
Well,
'Cause you have
also-
agencies like we're right next door to Floyd County. Well, 1025 in Alabama is different than 1025. in
Why are
Georgia.
they not?
Yeah, why are they
all
not?
like
Why are they not the
one
same?
thing
Alabama State
established?
Troopers have different 10 codes than we got.
That's a
Pretty much
confusion.
they all are close, but there's a few that are maybe flip flop. So if I tell somebody, if I'm on the radio with say somebody in Georgia and I tell them to 1025, that means meat. So it gets confusing.
Okay.
Okay, so in the academy, do you get the being tased and pepper sprayed and?
They do now. They didn't when I was there.
Give us your experience with the
Yeah, let's
two.
hear that.
So I was working third shift, and we had this major homicide case that was going to trial. And this guy that was going to be on trial he was a flight risk. He's a very dangerous man.
Can you tell us who it was?
His name's Keith Gavin. He's in.
Is he the one that was
He's
at
on
the
death
bank?
row. Yeah, he shot and killed the bank courier uptown next to the
Yeah.
courthouse.
Yeah.
That happened while I was a reserve.
Right.
So anyway, that case was coming up. They wanted everybody, certified. Make sure everybody was certified in pepper spray, and we were also going to have to do courthouse security. So everybody had to get what I just call electrocuted. You had to be certified in this rack belt, is what they call it. It's a belt that you put on inmates when they leave the jail and they go into a courtroom setting, and then you don't have to put handcuffs and shackles on them. That way, if they start to run, this guy that nobody knows who it is has the buttons in their hand. Excuse me. And if he takes off running or say he tries to fight with somebody,
Bam.
he's got that rack belt on, and when that button's mashed, he's getting about 80,000 volts in the lower part of his back on both sides of his spine.
Wait,
Oh,
so
Lord.
you
Lasting,
saying
and it lasts 8 seconds.
random person holding the button that nobody knows who it is? Just a
It's
random
one of our
drunk?
employees.
Right, but like you didn't know who it was.
Oh yeah, we all knew
Oh.
who it was, but nobody in the courtroom said it.
Oh, okay.
And that inmate doesn't know who holds the button.
So because he
And there's always multiple people around him, so he don't know who to. If he tries to attack one of us, he don't know which one to get first because he don't know who's got the button.
right. Okay.
Do you think he would have killed somebody in the courtroom?
Oh, if he has half a chance, he'll kill anybody.
Oh, so there was he didn't. He was that bad.
He made it
would have
known.
killed somebody.
He made it known when he was an inmate of ours that if you mess up and I get half a chance, I'm taking you out.
Were you scared of that?
I never dealt with him.
Oh. Okay. Well, but tell us your experience of getting tased
Oh,
and pepper
so-
sprayed.
So I never had been pepper sprayed because I'm not.
You'd been tasered?
No, that was his taser story. He was about to talk about. Well, not taser,
Yeah.
but the belt.
So
Oh.
the day that they had it lined up, I had to work third the night before and had to come back into work third that night. So I worked out at 8 o'clock, had to stay over, and they had some folks from another county that came up. and they were going to certify everybody with everything
Right then and there.
that day, that morning.
It's pepper spray and a bell.
So we set into a classroom setting, and they have to explain everything. So they electrocuted us with the little handheld zappers, is what I call them.
Just where you have to actually
Just
touch the
stun
skin.
gun
the ones
is
you
what they
can
call
use
it.
on people you can
Yeah,
buy from
they
the
call
store.
you can call them stun guns. So they hit us in the leg with that thing just to give us a little shock, and then they had what they called it's a stunning shield. It's a clear shield that's got probes on it, and you hold it with both hands. And if you're in some kind of riot situation or inside the jail, there's something going on.
You can hide behind that shield and it'll shock them
Well,
from
you
the
can just
outside.
like
Zap.
push it up against them and mash the button, and it gives them a voltage shock.
God.
And then they saved the best for last, which is the actual rack belt, is what they call it. But after we got the electric shield, they said, okay, everybody's going outside. We're going to, no, I'm sorry. We did the rack belt. And then they said, let's go outside. We're going across the street to the old jail, and we're going to spray everybody
The same day.
with freeze, is what we toted. It was 50% freeze plus P is what they called it. You had 50% freeze and 50% OC spray.
So
No, I'm sorry. It's OC and CS gas, 50-50, which made freeze plus P.
so
So they don't go freeze.
icy.
Oh, no, that was the name. That was the name on the can. It said
So-
freeze plus P.
Is it like icy hot? Like it's hot and cold? When you say freeze, does that
No,
just
there is
mean-
no freeze effect whatsoever.
I was about to say
All
all that stuff
burn,
was
no freeze.
scald.
That is all burn, baby.
So
Burn, baby,
so the
burn.
freeze is just
I never did
basically
understand
getting
why
people
they.
to stay back.
I guess I got freeze plus P. I don't know what.
Freeze.
I don't know what the plus P was, but anyway.
Freeze plus P means pain. Psst,
So that
Pepper.
8 seconds of that rack belt, I will take 10 times every day for a
really?
week to keep from doing that freeze one time.
Have you been pepper sprayed anymore after that?
Yeah, well, you get into an altercation sometimes, and your partner says, "Hey, I'm gonna spray him," and you spray.
And then the wind
He
ain't in your
sprays,
favor.
and the guy moves, and you're not expecting him to move, and then you're left standing there.
You
and
get the
then,
backlash.
You get what's left over.
Oh man.
Or
I bet you
like
want,
you said,
they want to get in a fight with Buddy.
you say, some people spray and the wind's blowing the wrong direction, and you're downwind of it, and bam, it gets you.
So let me ask you this. So like I have pepper spray.
Pepper.
Shut up. I was thinking I was talking
I
about
didn't even
pepper.
make fun of you.
Yeah, that's fun. You could have. Anyway, I figured you would. But I have pepper spray in my car. So if somebody were to come up to me and I pepper spray them, like, is it gonna get me?
You could get some backlash from it, yeah.
But am I gonna be able to see? You
Well,
think?
Hey, maybe
it's
it's
according to how much
professional.
contact you get, whether you can see or not. The best thing to do is if you get sprayed, is to get your eyes open as fast as you can. Because the object to get rid of that stuff is
Wash it out.
your
blink.
body is going to get rid of any foreign object or material instantly. You know how you get a splinter in your hand and it festers up? That's your body's way of getting rid of that pollution. So your eyes are automatically going to start tearing. If you keep them closed, they're not going to create tears. If you open them, it's going to tear up. Well, when you tear up, it's going to automatically start flushing that stuff. Now, it's not going to go away anytime soon.
No.
It's no way it's going away anytime soon.
Could you see after you got the pepper
How did
spray?
you get home?
I drove home.
How did they let y'all
Well-
drive in those conditions?
Well, they didn't like spray us and say, okay, get in the car and go home.
Leave. You've done your job.
They had us out into the end of the yard and they sprayed everybody. And then we had time to wash our faces, get cooled off, make sure, like I said, the quickest way to do it is to open your eyes. And they tell you that in the class is open your eyes as soon as you can. Don't wait, because the longer you wait, the worse it is. Well, I couldn't make myself open my eyes. I just couldn't.
Oh
And
man,
then-
you couldn't even pry them open.
And when they spray you, they don't just like spray you in the eyes.
No, they do it like this.
They spray and make a Z across your face. And
so
they
they're
start
this close.
they start up, it goes across your forehead, down across your nose, and then down across the lower part of your chin.
Oh my God! They
That's-
get it in your mouth.
Well, you're told to hold your breath and to close your mouth. Some people in the world have trouble keeping their mouth closed. This is not one of those times you want to test that. I'm going to keep my mouth open.
Do they make you keep your eyes open during this?
No, they let you close your eyes.
Yeah, because it's gonna get in there either way.
It's
the pressure.
getting in there anyway.
So they're not directly spraying it.
No,
in your
they're
eyes.
like 6 feet away. Spraying.
Oh,
That stuff sprays a long way. That's what I was gonna tell you, Callie. If you're ever
so
needing,
it's not like a mist. It's like a
no, it's
it's
a
like
a
spraying.
jet.
Those wasp nests
yeah.
that we spray with those cans?
Yeah.
That's what kind of stream comes out of those cans.
Okay. So tell us you got any experiences with that, like stories?
Oh, yeah. You talking about like using it on somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used it one time in my career to spray somebody. I was working second shift. We got a call at this trailer park on the south end of the county towards Spring Garden. It's kind of in between Spring Garden and Rock Run off the beaten path. And this guy we got a call about this guy that has a knife and he's going through he's just walking into people's houses making threats to them and supposedly is high.
Random guy.
Just random guy. Well, they actually knew who the guy was, so they gave the dispatcher the name.
Yeah.
And when they gave it to me over the radio, that thing I talk on every day.
Did you know the guy?
Oh yeah, I knew him. I mean, we've dealt with this
I was about to
guy.
say, have you dealt with him before?
When was this? Like what year you think? Well, you were working second shift, so it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it was probably 2002, 2003 maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere around in there. Anyway, I was working the second shift. So I get this call. I had a reserve with me. At that particular night, we had myself and one other officer that was the only two deputies working that night. He was catching the north end of the calls, and I was catching south end calls. So when they gave the call out, my reserve on the way down there, just basically says, "Hey, Bo, this guy's got a knife. How exactly are we gonna have to handle this?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "We're just gonna have to get down there and see what we're looking at before I can tell you what we can and can't do or what
Because you
may
don't
come
want
of
to
this."
shoot him.
Well, no, I'm not going to shoot anybody unless, that you just absolutely, that's the last resort, kind of thing. So, but I thought it was ironic after I got down there and it was already all over with. He's asking, "Hey, what are we going to do?" And usually when I go on a call that's what I consider a hot call where there's some potential action going to happen, I'm running through scenarios from the time they radio me till I pull up on the scene. I'm running scenarios, what ifs.
So you're not
going to
be
I'm not just
unexpecting of something.
Yeah, I try to think of any and everything that could possibly happen or go wrong with this, especially if I know the person, that I'm probably going to deal with. Because I've dealt with them in the past. I kind of know what they do or whatever. So we're going down there, and of course I'm doing that, what if and everything and all the situations. And in the process of going down there, they're giving us live updates from people that are calling in. "Hey, he's done this, or he's done this. He's in this trailer. He's now in this one. He's threatened this one. He's cut himself
Nice.
multiple times. He's bleeding."
Like on purpose?
Yeah, just because he's high,
Oh, okay.
And he's got this knife, and he's basically threatening to cut them. He's cut himself. He's just out there. So I get there, and lo and behold, he's standing in the middle of the trailer park, with this knife in his hand. And he sees me pull up or sees the county car pull up, and he starts to walk away,
Like he ain't doing nothing.
No,
No, that ain't me.
So he goes to walking away, and me and my reserve get out of the car, and of course it's dark in this trailer park. There's not like security lights out there. It's just dark. The only lights around is porch lights, and there's not many of those that's real bright. So he walks over toward this abandoned trailer that's over there, and I know it's abandoned because I've been in this trailer park multiple times. So he walks over to the back of this abandoned trailer, and it's kind of got like a lean-to off the back side of it. And I corner him up over there, and I start talking to him. And I call him by name, and I tell him who I am. And he starts talking back to me. He's like, man, I just want you to shoot me, Bo. I just want you to shoot me. I'm like, no, that ain't going to happen tonight. You need to put the knife down. Well, as I'm looking at him and watching him, I notice with my flashlight on and my partner's flashlight on him.
So y'all
too,
just shining on him.
I'm just shining on him. I mean, he can't. It's like deer in the headlights, you know. He's just talking back to me, you know. And I noticed that the knife is not just in his hand, but he's got it wrapped around his wrist and around his hand.
Oh, so if he's
With
going
a-
to punch,
with
he's
a
going.
piece of leather. It's not one of those things you're just going to take it and knock it out of his hand. If it gets knocked loose, he's got it tethered to him because he's got it around his wrist and he's got part of the rope around his hand. So I noticed this.
So he's going to use that thing like it's his hand.
It's like it's attached to him, you know.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that, and I'm, of course, playing this through my hand. What are we going to do? How are we going to get this knife out of his hand? And so I tell my partner, I said, he's got that knife tethered to him with that leather strap. So he's not, you know.
Is that something
just
you
know
whisper
that.
or do you?
No, I tell him out loud.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, yeah, I know. I figured you noticed that, Bo.
You're
And
like, hey, bro,
I
listen.
said, you just put the knife down. I said, why are you just strolling through the trailer park, agitating these people? I said, you've cut yourself. I said, just put the knife down. I got an ambulance coming. So he's like, no, just shoot me, Bo. Just put me out of my misery.
Bro, he was trying to do suicide by police,
He
wasn't
said,
he?
what if I charge you? I said, well, I'm still not going to shoot you.
I'm
he
just going to
said-
hurt you.
He said, well, what are you going to do to me? I said, I'm gonna just put you down on the ground and I'm going to get that knife away from you. He's like, you're not going to shoot me? I was like, no. Why would I want to shoot you for? I said, I didn't come down here to shoot you. I said, I come down here to talk you out of that knife and figure out what's going on. I said, I mean, at the very least, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. You know. And
He was going to jail anyways, right?
He said, well, I'm not going to put the knife down. I said, oh, yeah, you're going to put the knife down. And so I noticed also that, you know, where I had him hemmed up under this back garage part of this abandoned trailer, there's like this barbecue grill sitting there.
Oh,
and he's like, it's like to his left, you know. And then the trailer is on his right. So, you know,
Okay, I'm picturing
But
it.
He's
he's
not
got the
gonna
knife
run.
in his right hand?
he had the knife in his left hand.
Oh, he had the knife in his left hand. Okay.
Yeah, he had the knife in his left hand. And so I just took my freeze out. And now I've not used this freeze ever before.
Is this hard to
Everyone-
get out? Like it doesn't.
No, it's just in a little
You just-
pouch on the front.
And then
and
you're
you
ready.
just pop the top off and you slide it out, you know. And it's only a can about
Little
that
bitty
tall.
can.
Little bitty can, you know, but it packs a punch.
Hey,
You know.
don't even have to use it all.
So I told him, I said, hey, man, I said, just put the knife down. He said, I'm not putting it down. He said, what you got? I said, I got some freeze. He said, freeze? I said, yeah, it's called freeze plus P, and I'm fixing to spray you with it if you don't put that knife down. He said, well, I'm not putting the knife down. I said, okay. Psst. I sprayed him. I'm probably, you know, I don't know, 12, 15 foot away from him, and I spray him. Psst.
Right in the face.
Sprayed him. I only got one eye. And he's
It was
like,
enough.
oh man. And he's got his knife in his hand,
And he's touching it with
and he's trying to cover. You know, when you get something in your eye, you reach for it
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Bro, so
You
wonder
know.
if he stabbed himself in the face.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You know.
That scenario did not run.
What
through
if he
my
just
head.
stabbed
But I
himself in
didn't-
the eyeball?
Oh, that would have been bad.
Oh, that'd have been gross.
Yeah,
I'd have been
so-
gagging.
So you know, I've got a story about Taser for that too, but not about the eyeball. But you know, so anyway, I spray him in one eye, and I realized I only got him in one eye.
You're like, oh, shit.
And I thought, well, I'm just going to spray him again. So I sprayed him in his other eye, and he falls. He falls and stumbles into this garbage can because he can't see where he's going now. He comes out toward us, and then he just ends up on the ground. I didn't knock him down. My partner didn't knock him down. He tripped and fell. And as soon as he hit the ground and he extended his hand, I stuck my hand.
Stepped
the
on
I
him.
stepped on his wrist and took the knife away from him. And so that's how that ended up, you know. But yeah, he did ask me, he said, You said that stuff's called freeze? This is on the way to jail. And I said, yeah. He said, freeze plus pee? I said, yeah. He says, how much pee's it got in it? Because it hurts.
Callie would
Was he joking?
No, he was serious. But, I mean, I didn't know how much pee it had in it either. You know?
All right, since you told us a little funny story, tell us a little scary one.
That way we can wrap it up.
To lead us out before we do this into a 3 parts.
So, I guess one of the most worrisome nights that I probably had on patrol, I had got a call to go to a residence in reference to some trespassing. Man and wife there, and their son came in, and they didn't want him there. So they called for the sheriff's office to come down. When I get there, I'm talking to the dad.
Is it just you?
Yeah, I'm the only one there. I didn't have a reserve with me that night. It's just me. My partner, he's working the north end, and I'm on the south end. And so it's just me going to the call. Because typically we didn't like follow one another around to calls unless
Yeah.
it was just an absolute necessity that we thought, you know.
Well, it was a
You
whole lot
basically-
safer then, too. Now y'all have a whole lot more patrol. I mean, it wasn't nearly as dangerous then as it is now, right?
It's probably about the same.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Probably worse now than it used to be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because you didn't, because I've
But it was
seen-
still dangerous to go on a call by yourself. I mean,
Right.
you know, because you don't never know what you're going to face. But at any rate, so I get there, I pull up, and I start talking to the homeowners, the mom or the man and the woman. And the man's like, hey, you know, I don't want him here. He's got to go. And he won't leave.
And the guy's just standing there. The
Well,
son.
he's just in it. He's just wandering around through the house. It's their son. So he's basically back there in the room that he grew up in. He don't live there currently.
Right.
You know, so, but he just kind of bounces in, you know, and he's there. I guess, had he not come home causing problems with his mom and dad, they probably would have never called. Mm-hmm. But, you know, don't create problems for yourself and other problems won't come along.
There you go.
So they explain that he's been there causing problems. They don't want him there. They want him gone. So I said, okay. So I went back toward where he's at. I called him by name. He come out into the hall, and I said, hey, man. I said, Mom and Dad don't want you here. You're going to have to go.
Did you know the guy?
No, I'd never dealt with him. I knew of him, but I'd never dealt with him before.
Big guy, your size guy.
He's a big guy.
Okay.
You know, he's bigger than I was.
Like Grant size?
No, he wasn't hardly as big as Grant, you know. Maybe, yeah. Yeah. A lot more leaner
Yeah.
than it would be.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so I tell him, look, man, you're going to have to go. He said, yeah, I know. I'm trying to get a ride out of here. I said, well, look, I said, you know, I don't know where your ride's coming from. If you've called anybody, I'm trying to call somebody, man. Just have some patience with me. I said, man, I'm not trying to rush you. I'm just telling you,
We're going to have to go.
we're going to have to move along. Mm-hmm. If you can't find a ride,
I will take you.
I will take you anywhere you want to go. And not to jail, but I will take you anywhere you want to go.
Would you put him in the back seat or the front
Yes,
seat?
he would have
Okay.
went in the back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can't trust anybody.
Well, I didn't
sitting
think so.
front
I
seat.
just wanted to
He
check.
would have rode in the back seat.
Okay.
So I said, look, man, I said, I'll carry you anywhere you want to go. He said, I need to go to Cedar Bluff. That's where my buddy's coming from. I said, okay. I said, well, I'll give you some time for him to get here because I know it takes, you know, a few minutes to get from Cedar Bluff to where we were at. And I said, I'm going to go in here where your mom and dad's at, talk to your mom and dad. I said, explain to them what's going on. You're supposed to have a ride coming. Minutes go by. Nobody ever shows.
Uh-oh.
I go back in there and I say, hey, man, did you get a hold of your ride? Man, they're supposed to be on their way. I said, okay. I said, well, you know, see if you can get in touch with them. And this was, you know, about borderline cell phone era. You know, not everybody has a cell phone, and the ones that do have to pay per minute for using it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It ain't like now, you know, you use it all day long and pay the same charge. So he said, man, they're on their way. I said, okay. I said, we'll give him a few more minutes, and then we're going to have to do something different. I said, but I'm telling you, you're going to leave this property shortly.
He was expecting you to just leave so he could carry on
I
his
said, you're going to leave here
riffraff.
either with me or without me, but you're going to leave because they want you gone. And he says, well, I'll tell you what, if you think you're big enough to make me go, then we'll do it. He said, but I suggest you call you some backup. I said, okay. I said, well, I'll get some en route, but you're leaving this property one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I said, you can either go with me to the county jail or...
Because now he's threatened you.
I said, or you can let me carry you somewhere, or you can get your buddy to come get you, but you're going to leave this driveway and this house and this property, and you're not coming back.
Was you planning on charging him with threatening a police officer? 'Cause he threatened you.
No, I wasn't planning on doing that. So I give it a few more minutes. I step outside, get my buddy on the radio, told him to be en route. He said, okay. Because, you know, we'd worked together long enough that if I told him that he needed to come on, there's something serious coming on. Because I didn't usually ask for backup. He didn't usually ask for backup unless it was needed.
Yeah.
So anyway, my buddy gets there, or my partner gets there, and of course I hear on the radio. I'm back inside the house when I hear him on the radio say that he was outside, that he was letting dispatch know he was with me. I stepped back outside and I said, "Look, man, this boy, he just ain't gonna leave. I've given him all this amount of time to leave. He ain't gonna leave." I said, "We're gonna go in there and we're gonna get him, and he's going to jail." I said, "I'm gonna charge him with trespass." Okay, whatever you want to do. I mean, this guy was
Who was it?
Mark Hicks.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Rest his soul.
Rest his soul. We miss him.
But anyway, so Mark says, well, if that's what we got to do, it's what we got to do. Let's go get him. So I walk in the door, and we turn the corner, and he's standing there pretending, I think, to use the phone. And I said, "Corey," I said, "you've had ample opportunity." I said the guy's name, but I'm not going to say.
It's fine. We don't know.
So anyway, I told him, I said, "You got to go." I said, time's up. You're going with us. He said, "Man, I'm on the phone with him. I'm on the phone with him." I said, "No, we're going to put the phone down." I reached to grab his arm, his left arm, and it's kind of down to his side. And when I reached to grab his arm, the fight was on.
He was mad.
He turned around and, you know, it wasn't that he was mad. It's just he didn't want to go to jail, and he didn't want me touching him. But I'd given him plenty of opportunity to get gone, and here we are. Mm-hmm. And so we start wrestling around. Mm-hmm. Me and Mark, both of us, trying to get a hold of him. And we venture through from where he was standing into another room, knocking stuff off of
You know his
tables.
parents are just like, oh, my God.
Stuff's breaking. I mean, the inside of this residence is like
Wrecked.
Like it had been burglarized. Burglarized.
I mean, it was a disaster in my opinion. And so we go into this room, fighting, wrestling around. I say fighting. When we say we've been in a fight, it's not.
You're not
It's not really a fight. It's just a wrestling match to get somebody's hands under control and get them in handcuffs. So we're fighting him. He's resisting. You know, we're knocking stuff off of tables, glass breaking, pictures falling off the walls. You know, I mean, it's all that me and Mark can do to handle this guy. And we go back to where we ended up starting with him from, and then, I don't know, we all ended up on the ground.
Pause right there.
So we all end up on the ground. Mark's on the very bottom.
Oh, man. Dog pile.
Kind of. I say on the very bottom. He's off to like one side on the bottom. Mm-hmm. This guy is laying flat on his back in the kitchen floor, and I'm on top of him. How he ended up on the floor, I didn't know for a while.
It was
Was
just
it
a blur.
adrenaline?
For minutes, I have no idea how we all ended up on the floor.
Blackout. Adrenaline blackout.
No, it wasn't that. It just me and Mark and him were standing up, and the next thing I know, we're all on the
You think
floor.
somebody just tripped?
I'll tell you in just a second.
Oh, you know what happened. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I do know what happened.
Oh, okay. But at the time you didn't.
I didn't at that instant. I
Got
had
it.
no idea why we ended up on the floor.
Got it.
So I hear him say, I give up. I give up. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm like, dude, you've done it already.
You did it.
You-
Look at the pictures over here on the floor.
Been doing it. You know, I told you I said, I told you, why are you saying you didn't do it? I said, I told you to leave. You wouldn't leave. I said, so yeah, you did it.
You
He
know,
said,
we're all
"No."
still on the floor.
He said, no, Bo, that ain't what I'm talking about. He said, I didn't do it. And Mark looks at me and he says, you're bleeding. And I said, that ain't my blood. Because I looked down and I see blood on this guy, on his chest. And I said, it ain't my blood. And
Mark's
that
like,
guy says, yeah, Bo, it's your blood. I give up. I'm done.
Oh, he
You're
felt
bleeding.
bad.
You're bleeding. And I'm like, how in the world am I bleeding? I don't feel nothing, you know.
Adrenaline.
That's part of it.
Shock.
I mean, adrenaline dump, you know, or adrenaline just running through you. Anyway, so we get him up. I'm still doing my job. He gets up. He gets his hands behind his back. We cuff him up. And lo and behold, his daddy's standing there. And I turn and look at him, and he's like, oh, my gosh, you're pouring blood. I look down, and there's blood down my shirt.
Like soaked.
No, not really like soaked, but it's
there.
It's there, and it's dripping.
Ugh.
I'm like, what? Why am I bleeding?
Where am I bleeding from?
His mama, the guys that were arresting, his mama comes around the corner because she hears her husband say, you're bleeding. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if she thought that
He was
their son was bleeding or one of us is bleeding, but she come around the corner, and when she saw me, she said, oh, my God, you need to come in here with me. We got to get that blood stopped. I'm like, is it that bad?
You're like, oh, bro, I'm fine, bro.
So Mark says, go on, Bo. Go on in there with her. I'll get him out to the car after I get him patted down. You know, I'm like, no, I mean, and, you know. He's like, you need to go in there with her. Mm-hmm. You're bleeding, man. Go in there and see if you can do something with that. So
You'll fix that.
I walk in there with her into the living room, into the hallway bathroom, and she gets me in there, and she's got a wet towel.
Did you look in the mirror?
Yeah, I looked in the mirror, and I done this, and I saw a gash. across
You
the
still
bottom
have
of my
that
chin.
scar.
Yeah, 7 stitches later, baby. Right there. So,
Battle scars.
battle scar. So, what led up, or what ended up causing that was, and what he meant by I didn't do it was, when we all fell, his dad had grabbed his pants legs, the son's pants legs,
He was helping.
and jerked his legs out from under him, and we all fell down
Oh, my
on
goodness.
top of him. And we didn't know it was coming, but he had jerked his son's legs out from under him, and we all fell on top of him. Well, when I came down, my chin had hit the edge of the refrigerator door and busted it open, just split it open. Clean split.
Did they call an ambulance, or did you call an ambulance, or
No.
did you just...
Mark told me, he said, I'll call an ambulance. I said, man, I can drive myself to the hospital, you know?
How far away from the hospital were you?
I was probably, with lights and sirens on, probably 5 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
But, you know, normal driving, I was probably
10.
10,
12.
15 minutes away, you know. And I didn't drive with lights and siren on. I just drove normal, you know.
Cruised on back.
But Mama had got me in there and kind of doctored me up and had me something fixed to where I could keep pressure on it, you know. So I drove to the ER, you know, holding my chin. And, of course, you know, your mama sits at home and listens to the scanner.
And
Oh,
she
shoot.
was panicked.
And so I can't remember exactly how it played out, but I told Mark not to say anything to dispatch about me having to go to the ER because I knew your mother would be listening. Mm-hmm. So
maybe like give him a little call on the side phone.
And so we had cell phones, but, you know, I told Mark, I said, I'm going to the ER because he told me, he said, you need to go get some stitches. Well, anybody that knows me knows that I don't do stitches. I don't do needles.
Don't do
and
blood.
I don't do blood that belongs to my own. Now, me bleeding is okay,
But not me, not
but
Caitlin, not
none
family.
of y'all needs to bleed in front of me, or I'll be passed out. So I was okay, but I was sure dreading these stitches because Mark told me, he said, I know you don't like stitches, but you fixing to get some stitches.
The super glue just wasn't
Super
gonna
glue
do it.
ain't, that's what he told me. He said, super glue ain't going to hold that, buddy. He said, you're going to get a shot and you're going to get some stitches. And I'm like, man, I dread this more than I do Katrina finding out what's going on. Because I know she's going to be upset, but man, my stomach's turning flips because I know it's going to be a needle. So, it was pretty terrifying knowing that when the guy told me, you better call you some backup, because I knew there was going to be a fight,
What
I've been in altercations before where you have to wrestle with people, but I didn't know what to expect with this guy about,
You didn't know if he's gonna pull a knife on
call
you.
some backup because you're going to need it,
What do you think would have happened if he had not warned you to call for backup?
You think you could have got more hurt than what you were? Like, you think he could have stabbed you or something?
I don't think he would have stabbed me, but I don't think that I would have ever had any, way to have gotten him down by myself.
Right.
What if-
His dad probably would have jumped in and helped me.
Hey, his dad was the reason why y'all got him down.
Yeah, do you think it would have been different?
Yeah, we'd still be fighting today if his daddy had to pull his feet up.
Legend has it. there's-
We'd all had to take a break and take a nap.
He said, Johnny, pull the legs.
Yeah, instead
Sweep
of
the
Johnny
legs.
sweep the legs.
He was pulling them legs.
So, it was pretty terrifying. I don't want to sound awful when I say this, but a deputy told me one time when I first got hired that, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous when you're going on calls or when you get there in a situation, because scared will keep you alive.
Yeah.
There's a difference in being scared and just being a coward.
Yeah.
A coward is just not going to go or just going to back down and say to heck with it, But being scared, if you're not scared doing this job, then you're lying to yourself. If there's times that you don't say, man, I was scared when I got there. Because I've been scared. I've been scared a bunch of times. Going on calls, getting on scene. Now, there's things that I told y'all earlier that I play these scenarios through my head. And I don't know what it is or how it works, but I can play scenarios through my head, going to calls, running lights and siren, and may have to drive 30 minutes to get there. And there's multiple scenarios going through my head all this time, just randomly running through. What if this happened? What if this happened? What can I charge them with? Da-da-da-da-da. Playing it all out. When I get there and get out of the car, it's like all those scenarios, I never think about them again.
Really?
I go right into doing my job, and
It's
I never.
instinct.
I guess that's what it is.
I think that is the fear. Like,
I
you're
never-
getting it all out of your system before
I
you get
never
there.
think about anything because I go into work mode, and I'm getting a job done, and I never think about what ifs anymore.
Right on.
So, but it is a scary job. It is a dangerous job, and there's going to be some scary moments. There's going to be some moments that you think, well, this is just another routine job or a routine call. There's no such thing as a routine call.
They're all different.
Everyone is different. It don't matter if I go to the same one 3 times a night. It's going to be different every time.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for us today. This one's going to probably be a 3-parter. If we don't get it finished in 3, we'll do it in 4.
However many it takes, we got to get Bo's whole story up in here.
Yeah. We got to get a new respect for police officers because right now there's no respect. But yeah. So, you have anything you want to say before the second part comes out?
I don't think so.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
he's got a lot more
And part
exciting
of the
stories.
my problem may be me. I don't tell anything short story
That's
version.
where I get it from.
Yeah,
that.
I've always told you, Daddy, I need to tell you something. Is this going to be a long story or a short story? And you ain't never had a short story.
No.
But I ain't either. To tell
I
you the
neither.
truth.
I love
You know,
the
I-
long, detailed stories.
I do too.
Well, I'm in a detailed profession.
Yeah.
I have to know the details, and I have to tell the details either, verbally or write it down, and most of the time both ways. So
So you're detail oriented.
I can't
your
help
job.
but
And
if I tell you that I went to the store this morning and got a biscuit, I'm gonna probably tell you what vehicle I drove, how much gas it had in it.
What
You gotta tell Hunter that because he
Which
gets
store?
irritated that I do that. So
We were just raised that way, man.
I mean, which door I went out of to get to the truck.
What the biscuit had on it.
where I had to go out the front door because there was some spiders on the back.
And you
door.
gotta give a little sprinkle of background
And I had to
info.
tell Roscoe to stay, you know. I mean, I tell everything
Go
when I tell a
pee-pee.
story.
Go pee-pee, Roscoe. Go pee-pee.
All right. Well,
Keep following us on all the socials. You know the ones. You know the thing.
you know the thing.
Oh, also, while we're thinking about it, clap, clap. President Trump survived, baby. Anyways, stop trying to kill people. Just that's all I need to say about
you
that.
missed.
Fight. Anyway, Daddy don't want to comment, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Do you have anything else?
Just like, subscribe, comment, leave us a comment, especially on this. I feel like you can give us some questions and
Yeah.
Bo might could answer them
Yeah.
on the next one. You think?
Definitely send
Maybe.
us a DM. We can start doing like a questionnaire with him, and then y'all can get to know
This
your.
will be more than a 4-parter if people start sending in questions.
You know what? If this gets the views,
If
you're
this-
on here every day.
Yeah, if this
I can't
gets
do
it,
this every day.
if this gets it, we just need to start a Bo's talk.
I'd do a bow pod.
That's what I was just thinking. I was thinking
It'd
Bopod.
be like Pop Watch, but Bo Watch.
It'll be called Bow Pod Beyond 21.
Hey, it's Bo time.
Beyond the bow.
Beyond the bow. All right, y'all. I think that's gonna be it for us tonight. This has been Beyond 21 with Caitlin.
Callie.
And Bow.
Bye, y'all.